Hello everyone and welcome back to another project here at Paperone Motor Projects. I have got a little list of currently the cars I'm looking at. Not saying I'm going to buy them, but something to work for another project. I have my money from the previous project, which was, like I said, a flip car, not so much a working project. But this is basically the first video of the second project. I don't know what it is I'm going to get yet, but by the end of this episode you guys will find out exactly what it is that I'm going to get. So by the end of this video you'll find out the exact car that I've chosen to get as the second project. Now this is going to be a working project. This is a car that will actually need some work doing to it. Unlike the previous car, which was a flip car, the reason why I chose a flip car for the first car is to get a bit of money to spend on a car that needs a little bit of work doing to it, but also can generate that kind of similar profit that I got out of the first car. Now, there's 3 cars that I've looked at in the auction house this week. I haven't actually been to see them, and judging by what I have seen that they've got this week, I'm probably not going to go down to have a look, which means more than likely I'm not going to go and bid on them. So this video will combine me going to choose cars on the internet, on the auction house sites, to see what they've got in stock till I actually find a car worth bidding on. First car, a Renault Clio 1.4 Expression from 2007. This car is valued between £220 and £680. There it is. All it is just missing a hubcap. There you go, there's a service light on there. That is one of the cars. There was another car, there's a Renault, sorry not Renault, it's a Vauxhall Corsa on there. But it's a 2002 51 plate. You ain't going to get much money for those cars, so there isn't worth, I ain't even looking at it, it's not even worth it. To me it's not even worth it, so I don't even know what condition it's in. I'm not looking at that. As much as I don't like to go for French cars, I'm going for cars that are easy to sell. So you want to go for cars that are easy to sell, your little hatchbacks like the Clios, Fiestas, what else is good at the moment for little hatchbacks. The Megane wasn't too bad. It was only because of the coronavirus and stuff like that at the moment that's affecting the market at the moment. But anything that's little, even Corsas, yeah, Corsas, not of that age though. You want to go for the late noughties, so about 2008, 2007 models. So that would be Mark III's, the Mark III Corsas. Just like this, which is the Mark III Clio. So again, this is a 1.4 Expression, 2007, valued between £220 and £680. That's roughly around about as much as I would bid on it, so £680 would be my limit on that. Its resale value is between £820 and £1,070. Now, it's the Expression model, so it's quite basic. They did do a smaller litre, I think they did do a 1.2 litre in these Mark III Clios. So it's, trim wise, it's basic. It has got electric windows on it, but everything else is basic. Hubcaps, no fog lights, just, it is very basic. So not my preferred one, not when I go on to the next lot, which is again a Renault Clio, but it's a Dynamique 1.6 VVT Dynamique S, also 2007 and the same colour, but its valuation is well less than the Expression. I think is because people sought after the Expression model, not so much because of its trim, it's because of the engine size, probably cheaper to tax. Well, it is cheaper to tax and cheaper to insure, therefore more sought after and keeping its, well, a higher value, because the Dynamique S, checking the value, is valued between £50 and £410, depending on mileage and condition. Now the one they've got here is a grade C, but is actually in worse condition, so I wouldn't even put this as a grade C. The other one I would have put as a grade B. This is actually a grade C, borderline D in my opinion. But its resale value is only £700 to £890. With that said, when you look at these pictures, it is ideal project car. Very similar, but look at that rear wheel arch. There is a dent and there's no paint, it's all scuffed off. That front wheel arch is all scuffed and damaged. Doesn't look like a dent, it looks like mainly scuffed because most of it's on the plastic. Well, actually, sorry, it is all plastic, isn't it? That side is fine. Rear end is fine. I think there is a mark there on the bumper. And there is your wheel arch. So that wheel arch, as you see, there is a dent, and then it's all missing all the paint around there. Plastic needs tucking back in. Oh, hang on, there's more. Just got to scroll down. There we go. Interior, better interior. As you see, silver around the dials rather than just bland plastic. And has actually got better handles in it, and it just looks like a tidier interior, better interior, and obviously it comes with the alloys rather than hubcaps that I would have to change on the other Clio because it's missing one. So I'd have to go and source them anyway. I wouldn't have to spend money on the wheels, but definitely would have to spend some money on the damage. I probably wouldn't worry about that damage too much. It's going to be this one. That is the damage that I need to sort out. Moving on to the next car, Renault Clio 1.4 Expression again, but this is the 55 plate, so this is the Mark II facelift model. So one of the last of these models. They did do a Campus, I think, after the Expression. They phased out this model when they're starting to release the Mark IIIs, and they did the Campus where they removed the number plate from the boot lid and located it in the bumper. So this is a 55 plate Mark II facelift. The value is £200 to £250. So obviously one of them, and it's missing a hubcap again. Why are they all missing hubcaps? So you've got a bit of damage there. There you go. Oh, hang on. Interior, let's bring that down. The first car I showed you, the Expression 2007, that had done 86,000 miles. The Dynamique has done 109,000 miles, and that Renault Clio Expression, the Mark II facelift, has only done 74,000 miles. Out of everything said, my mind would tell me to go for the 1.4 Expression 2007 because there's not much difference in value, resale value. It's only £300 to £400 more than getting the Mark II. So you can have a newer car for about £300–400 more. So you would spend that £300–400 more for the Mark III, which is 2 years newer. A little bit more miles though, but depends on if you're bothered about looks or the newer model, or it depends, but its valuation is higher anyway, so obviously more sought after than the Mark IIs. Mark IIs, I think they are a lot using for bangers now rather than the Mark IIIs. But yeah, I would lean towards the Dynamique, but because I'm not happy with any of those three cars, out of the three, I would choose the Dynamique because it's a better car, but I would make less money. It's more work. The other two haven't really got much to do. And like I said, I'm looking for a car that I got something to do, something to work on. So the Dynamique is perfect for that. But the problem I've got, it's not worth it. The money I would have to put in, £200–300, unless I got it for £50, which is very unlikely. It's not really worth investing in. It would all depend on how much that car sold for. And to be honest, with that said, I probably wouldn't bid on any of those 3 cars. They're the cars that I would most likely look for, because they're the easy cars to sell for what they are and the money you can get for them. Like I said, the 2007 Expression has the most money in it. So if you get it for a good price, you could probably make about £300 on that car. The Dynamique, if you got it for £50 to £100, even to £150, you can sell it up to £890. Right everybody, it's another day, another week, so it's time to go and check out what the cars in the auction are. Been scouring for the last couple of weeks. What you saw, obviously, I didn't even go and look at. So there's no video of me going and look at it. It was just seeing what was around and what cars I would actually go for if I actually was going to bid on one. Again, I've had a look this week. I even looked last week. There was nothing last week, so I didn't do a video. This week there is a few cars, good cars. Last week there was a few cars that are way out of my budget. Let's start with a couple of cars. It is a Vauxhall Astra exclusive CDTI 1.6. Is it 1.6 or 1.7? It might be 1.7 because it's diesel. 103,000 miles. 2011. It's actually grade C, it reckons. In black. Let me just... wrong way. So, there we go. There's the pictures. Now, there was another car I was looking at on there, which was a Astra. I can't even remember what the model was, but it was a better model than this, and it's been taken out of the auction for some reason. I don't know why, but this was actually the Astra I had my eye on. If I had the budget, this is definitely the car I would bid on. It doesn't actually really need any work. Probably needs a bit of a cleaning up on the interior and exterior. I'll probably change the hubcaps to make it a bit more stylish, I suppose. But yeah, so there we go. So that's the Astra. Prices then. It's the Vauxhall Astra exclusive 2011 CDTI. Now its valuation on what I should be paying for it is between £970 and £1,215, depending on condition. So yeah, you're looking at a couple of independent valuations with regards to its auction value and Part X value. So the prices really I should be looking to pay for if I'm looking to sell it in the private market at a profit. Remember, I'm not a dealer, so I cannot ask dealership money. I have to ask for private money, depending on the condition of the car, whether I should ask for top end money or a little bit less than top end depending on its grade. Now that's a grade C. I'll go and have a look at it to see if it actually is a grade C. To be honest, I think it's probably going to be a grade B. It doesn't look that bad, to be honest, but we'll find out. So that's its value. Resale value, what I would be selling it for, is between 1,850 and 1,950. I think that is quite a reasonable price for a diesel with, I can't even remember how many miles it had on it, 103,000 miles. A diesel with 103,000 miles, that's 9 years old, less than £2,000. Yeah, top end price, I wouldn't ask for more than 1,950 for it. I could ask for more, but I wouldn't sell it. And if I did, people would ask for it to come down considerable amount. Probably take 1,850 for it. But yeah, it's not my car yet. So they're the kind of prices that I'll be looking at selling that car for, and obviously the prices I'll be paying for it. So this is just a rundown on cars on my list of next project cars. I'm also looking for cars to actually do some work to. So it's not all about just buying it, cleaning it up, flipping it. This channel is also about, you know, restoring cars to how they should be. Right, next car is a Ford Focus 1.6 Ti VCT Titanium. Titanium being the second from top model. I can't even remember what the top model begins with. I think it's an Italian name. I can't remember. I really can't remember now. But titanium is quite common. You find it in all the models. Me myself, I own a 2012, because this is a 2012 Ford Focus. I own a 2012 Ford C-Max titanium, so I know what the titanium models are like, and it's pretty good. And the Focus has actually pretty much got the same interior as the C-Max of its age. Now, let's go and have a look at the Focus. Right. So here's the details on the Focus. So it's as I said, Ford Focus 1.6 titanium, 110,000 miles. It has done a fair bit of mileage for its age, to be honest. Like I said, I've got a 2012 C-Max. It's only done 34,000 miles. 34,000 miles in 8 years. They can't set as a grade C. This is a grade C. This is ideal for having some work going on it, but unfortunately with this car, it's out of my range. It's got no service history, one key, and these are the pictures. Let me back the camera off a bit. There you go. So not a bad looking model. Again, Ford definitely did better wheels than that for a titanium model. That's not got the best of wheels on it. I think they're trying to highlight something there. You can't quite see it in the picture. There's a handprint that must be embedded in the paintwork, but that should be able to come off. That is the worst bit. Now it has a mirror indicator, so that all needs redoing. New mirror indicator, stuff like that. Right. Interior. There's a scuff on the door by the looks of it. And I can't quite see anything on that one. There you go. And that's the dash. But now what are we looking to sell that for? And prices. So we'll just discuss prices. So the price of this is well out of my reach. It's not something I would actually bid on, but it is something that I could actually work on and actually make a good return on it. But its valuation is between £2,220 and £2,615. That's how much I would be paying towards it. Resale £3,270 to £3,895. I think £3,895 is pushing it a bit, just under £4,000 for it. Considering its mileage, I would probably say 3.2 is probably the more reasonable price. So the lower end of that would be best. It's 110,000 miles and a petrol engine that's 8 years old. So the mileage is above average. So I would have to take that in consideration. But 3,270 for a car that could possibly pay between 2.2 and 2.6 for. That's 700, well, that's between £600 and £800 profit. Repairs, obviously, not quite sure how much that would cost. I haven't looked into repairs because it's not my car and it's not a car I'm even going to buy. But it's a food for thought car. But I probably might go and have a look at it while I'm there, as it was one of the options, but I wouldn't even waste my money. Like I said, I haven't even got the money ready for it. So yeah, it's not in the budget, but I have found a car that is in the budget. Check this out. Right, so the car I've got in the budget, which is the one that I would actually look for and actually buy, possibly put a bid in, but it's one I'm definitely going to have a look at. These three cars are the cars I'm going to go and have a look at. The one that I would actually look at getting that's within budget. There's a couple without, out of budget, but I could put some of my own money towards if I think it's going to be a seller and a good return. Like the Astra, that is definitely a possibility. The Focus, it's well out of there. So the actual one I've actually found, this is a Hyundai Getz 1.4 CDX. It's a 2007. It's got 86,000 miles, so it's well under its average. And the valuation, what I would be looking to pay for it, based on auction price and Part X prices of the car, is between 150 and 550. Also depending on its condition. This needs some work as well, so this is good. This actually needs some work. They class it as a grade C. But yeah, let's have a look at the details of this car then. So as you see, 2007 Hyundai Getz, 86,000 miles, petrol, grade C. They class it as grey. The pictures show that it looks like it's black, but it's probably dark grey. Let's scroll that down. It's got alloy wheels. It's got one key, MOT till October 2020. It's got 7 stamps service history as well. The Focus didn't have any service history. It's actually got air conditioning, cloth interior, manual, seats manual, cruise control no, climate no, sun no, I wouldn't expect that. It's got a sunroof. Xenons no, hell no, wouldn't have that. And these are the pictures. Oh, I suppose it is grey. Some of the pictures does actually show it is grey in colour. Right, okay. So there you go. It's not a bad little car, but it does have its little marks on it. That being the worst. It looks like there's a gouge out of the car. And let's scroll down a bit more. Again, more damage. So something that's repairable, I would probably look at repairing that. That is just a bit of nothing really, just a bit of a gouge on the bumper to be expected. That, I don't like that. That does need sorting out, especially the bit in the metal there. So that's something I would sort out bodywork wise. Interior, it's a very bland interior car, unfortunately. There you go. So not a bad car. Definitely worth the investment. You have to see what it goes for. The valuation of the car is between 150 and 550 pound, based on what you saw there and what it can actually do to the car to get it up into a fair condition, into at least a grade B condition for resale. you're looking at between £650 and £1,000 top end for that car. I probably would receive about 900 to be honest for the car, so that is not worth any more than £1,000. Even with the work done, it's not worth more than £1,000. So top end is £1,000. So depending on how much I could actually get the car for would depend on how much money I would put into the car. It's within budget. Like I said, 550 is my max. I've got just over 400 in cash profit from the Renault. I could put my own money towards that, which is £100, £150 of my own money, which is returned once the car is sold. Exactly what happened with the Renault. I had to start somewhere, obviously. And yeah, there we go. So we've got the 3 cars that I will be going to have a look at. Depending on what they actually look like in person would depend on whether I actually bid on them or not. I could look at it and go, that needs too much work, too much money being spent on it. It's not a worthy investment for me. So, and especially body work on a car that's only worth £1,000, you have to weigh up, is it actually worth it, and how much it's going to cost to actually repair. If it's something you can do yourself, definitely worth doing. Definitely worth doing and definitely worth investing in, because it works a lot cheaper. Body shops will probably charge you a couple £100 for that, to do that gouge and the respray and the blend and everything. So probably a couple £100, which takes a big chunk of your budget, but it depends on how much you get the car for and if you can afford to spend that. So quick rundown then, you've got the Vauxhall Astra exclusive CDTI 2011, auction Part X value between 970 and 1,215, resale value between 1,850 and 1,950. The Ford Focus 1.6 Ti VCT Titanium 2012. The valuation for auction and Part X is between 2,220 and 2,615. Resale between 3,270 and 3,895. And the Hyundai gets the one that's well within budget and needs a bit of work doing to it, so ideal project, is the Hyundai gets 1.4 CDX. Like I said, auction valuation, between auction valuation and Part X valuation is £150 to £550, and resale £650 to £1,000. So there you go, those are my 3 pick cars. There would have been 4, but unfortunately the Astra that was also taking a look at has been removed from the auction. Don't know why, but it's been removed. So yeah, I'm going to go and check out those cars and I'll report back.